First of all, I would like to thank Sundar and team for making this presentation a little bit easier. There are a lot of commonalities that we're talking about it in this session again. Second thing is somebody asked when. Probably you can look at some of the answers in this session. We have something which is working, kind of a solution that we're talking about from an agentic AI. So AI and agentic AI, I don't think we need introduction. If you are a practitioner, AI practitioner, you are all happy. Of course, if you're an investor, you need to be worried with whatever the things that are happening in the NASDAQ and those ones. What we've started is having spent in the OTM and in the Oracle logistics field for last 2 decades, started working with a lot of people in terms of how the AI can be applied to the supply chain and into the OTM ecosystem. Started having conversations and then trying to understand what the relevant use cases and other stuff. That's how we started working, and it could be things like where we hear about inventory planning, route optimization. There are cases where we're talking about inventory planning, route optimization. I was talking about another Indian IT company which is in the logistics spectrum. They're talking about a voice automation from a driver which could update the shipment statuses. There are different use cases which comes in, right? So what we started is how these use cases can be used into the OTM ecosystem and how it can help the OTM business users as well as the people like us, the practitioners like us, in terms of how it can help us. That's the origin of the project Insights, OTM Insights. That's what we're going to elaborate what went through and then how did we do it. Before that, we just look at, I'll probably for the want of time, I'll skip it. I know all of you are tired. So I just want to give a quick introduction. My name is Srinivas. I'm a supply chain, SME and also an OTM practitioner for last 2 decades. I have my colleague and friend, Rahul. He's the AI architect. He's been helping us in building the solution for us. Just before, let's take a step back. The reason I'm going into the landscape, into what's happening in the supply chain industry, we talked about disruptions, right? Like a few months back, somebody was asking, we know what's happening in the tariffs, we know how the things are changing on the tariffs in the world. Somebody was asking, can we build an AI tool which can tell me what is the impact if the tariffs are going to change, right? So those are the kind of disruptions, those are the things that we're talking about it. What is required is, what the business teams require is a kind of an intelligence, a kind of an actionable intelligence, how the things are changing and then what is the impact on our business and what decisions that we need to take. That's what we talk about, the actionable intelligence. From an intelligence, we are moving into the actionable intelligence, how the things would change. The same thing comes into the sustainability. That's a common buzzword in the industry today. You have to report in terms of what is your sustainability, what is your targets and the carbon footprint and some of those stuff. That's something, again, from a reporting, you have to do reporting and actionable intelligence are the 2 common things that keeps coming out when we talk to the different business and industry leaders. 2 other things which are happening. When 2 years, 3 years back, when the cloud migrations were happening, a lot of people talk about tech debt, right? Your applications are not ready, you have a technical debt. Now, the 2 common things that we're seeing in the world is the digital transformation. That's been a common phenomena across. The tech debt is disappearing. The applications have become more tuned to the next generation kind of a thing. At the same time, they're also induced the digital debt. That means you have to go through multiple digital systems to get an information so that you can act upon it. But what we're seeing is both digital transformation and the connected ecosystem. We talk about companies like CloudLeap and some of them, which gives you those ecosystems where people are integrating. That gives you the data, what is required from an artificial intelligence. So that means the systems, the customers are ready with the data and what they need to do from the overall stuff. So what we're looking at is the connected, what is the IT from a AI chatbots, from a OpenAI, Cohere, and some of these LLMs that are coming into the market, how we can leverage and how the companies, how the IT can leverage and they start working on is the connected digital systems, ecosystems, which are like OTM and GTM. Some of these companies, some of these products are providing you those. But what is also important for you is the analytics. We talked about it. If there is a business scenario changing, how fast I can act it, what is the action that I need to take, what are the insights into this is something that we are looking at from an analytical angle. From automation, we want to go to autonomous stuff where we wanted to take actions where without the human intervention or with minimal human intervention, how we can take some actions based on the autonomous operations. How do we become more flexible and resilient? And of course, the most important thing, how can we empower the users? The business users who are using the system, do they need to wait for us to build some reports from dashboards, from intelligent dashboards, or can they get the information what they're looking at the fingertips where they can start working on? That's where the IT systems which are looking at and how they can respond to this. So what we've seen is from the shift towards autonomy, so from an automation, Oracle comes with a lot of automation agents and some of those, but when it comes to the autonomy, I think thanks to Sundar and team who have done a fantastic job in explaining what is the AI agent, what is the automation, and how the AI agents can help in some of those stuff. And what is autonomy is you need to understand the intent. We talked about some of the cases in the previous session and how we can do it. That's where we started the journey, a project called OTM Insights. The whole idea is to build an agentic AI framework because that's a framework which can understand from a natural language. It can understand the OTM API, entire ecosystem, which can provide you the context and memory so that you can get the relevant information with the insights what you wanted to do. Right? That's the whole objective. We started the Agentic AI framework, which we'll walk you through, and probably we'll do a brief demo in terms of how the framework that we're building in and what we wanted to do next. I'll not spend much time. I'm sure each one of us know what is the AI agent and what is the Agentic AI. So how it can help us in the overall. So if you see the whole thing that we're talking about is two things. One is how we can get the information and actionable insights into the information, what we need to act upon. Second is how we can automate the routine processes, what are the processes that we can automate it, and how we can enhance the collaboration. Because there was a use case where somebody was talking about it, a connected dispatch dashboard, where I can connect with a driver and a planning and execution guy with the partners. How can I build a connected ecosystem using the Agentic AI? So those are the cases which probably takes a bit longer time in the current ecosystem, but with the advances that happened in the AI, which you can probably do it much faster using the collaboration and integration using the Agentic AI. And of course, the predictive and prescriptive analytics, which we know what are how we can predict the ETA predictions and then some of the stuff which is currently available right now. So these are the cases where the Agentic AI can help more from an OTM perspective as well. So what we're looking at, when we're looking at it, we look at from my experience, from my interactions with the business users, there are 3 different use cases that comes up from a business context. I'm not talking about technology or anything, from a business context. The first one is the easiest one, which is how do we operate? I'm doing certain things daily. It's not RPA, but we're talking about certain automation that I want to do it. I'm updating few things. How can I do that with the AI where I can automate the entire processes using the Agentic AI? That's an automate operation. The second one we're talking about is an actionable intelligence where I can get the information, I can do the certain stuff. And third one is optimization. What we are focusing from a project perspective, what we focused is the first and second, where we're building a platform to understand, to address automate the operation and the actionable intelligence is the whole idea that we're building the whole stuff. So before I hand over to my colleague Rahul, I just want to talk about what is the business architecture, what we're looking at it. These are the business processes, and there are edge applications that we're building in where it is connected with the application and data layer, which is OTM-WMS and TMS kind of an application with the data lakes. What we're doing is building a core AI platform which understand the NLP queries, which understand the API framework. API framework is nothing but your REST APIs. Whatever you can do in REST APIs is something that we can do it using the OTM Insights. whether it is operation that you're doing it, whether it is an inquiry that you're doing it, anything that a REST API supports, which we can execute it. And we have an orchestration governance, because remember, Agent AI gives you the kind of the automation, autonomy kind of a thing. And there are tools and repositories that we build as part of this. Once we build this, what we have done right now is the first one, which is in green, is the conversational chatbot, which you can inquire into any object, any business object in OTM, get the information, ask follow-up questions, which you can save it and execute it later. That's the first step that we've done, where we can connect with a conversational chatbot and then do it. All that because we built this core AI and we started with that. Subsequently, that we can expand it to do the next level of AI agents, which may or may not be conversational. For example, what we're looking at is a health check, where you can ask for information of a particular order health or shipment or OTM as a whole. It can give you the insights, it can give you the certain stuff, and it could be triggered on a scheduled basis, or it can do it based on the conversation. So that's the kind of a automation tools, that's the kind of a tools that we're trying to build it as a next step. That's the brief about the business architecture. Now I'll request Rahul to talk about the technology part.
Hello. So this is the step-by-step process of how the chatbot works, right? So user enters a question like, where are my orders for last 7 days? And then out comes the response. So basically there are two steps. First, we need to take in the query and convert it into a API call along with the payload and whatever that goes, filters that goes with it, right? So OTM has a lot of different endpoints, maybe over more than 1,000 endpoints, right? That's a good thing, because we can query all different kind of business context and get the results. But this is also like headache for LLM, right? We can't just pass all the 1,000 endpoints to LLM and say, okay, this is the query, figure out the right endpoint. That can be too overwhelming for LLM. So we break it down into different steps. So the first step is that we build a vector database for these endpoints. Okay. Then we do a nearest neighbor search with the query and ask the database, like, give me top five endpoint that are likely to answer this question. Once we have those top five, once we have that context, we ask LLM that give me a parent endpoint. So it could be like endpoint / shipment or order details. Once we have the parent endpoints, that basically narrows down our like ATM endpoint universe from 1,000 to maybe 30 or 50. Once we have the parent endpoint identified, we ask LLM to give us the child endpoint. And once we have the child endpoint identified, we again ask the LLM to give us the like which verb should we use for this particular operation. Should it be a get or post or something else? And then along with what filter do I need to use? For example, if someone is querying for give me all the orders from Mumbai to Hyderabad, then source should be Mumbai and the destination should be Hyderabad. Once we have the full API call configured, we make a call to the OTM REST API and then get the JSON data. But the JSON data is not human like readable, right? So once we have the JSON data here, either if it's a shorter response, we can just format it in a conversational manner and send it back to the user. But if the data is huge, then we do additional analytics on top of it. So there will be an option to download the data. So you can export the data and use your favorite tool to basically analyze it further. And it also has charts built in the chat application. So for example, if you're asking the trend, it'll plot the histogram and the trends and so on so that you can analyze it. So this is the architecture of the analytical chatbot at this point. But later on, we want to also add insights into it. So for example, rather than just asking, okay, plot me the sales for last 6 months, you could also ask like why my sales are down and how can I reduce cost and so on. So that is the next level of reasoning that we want to implement. So this is the first thing that we have developed, and this led us to basically build a set of modules that are reusable and can be used for other applications as well. So these are some of the modules that we have developed. Of course, there is an orchestrator which takes in the query and plan how to utilize different kind of agent and how to combine them and so on. Then we have the database layer at the bottom. So the operational data store is the one responsible for storing the chat conversation and historical, like the conversation context, so that it knows what did you ask before. We have analytical data store to store the other data related to analytics. We have a caching layer so that the queries are faster and you don't have to wait 7 million years to get the answer 42. So all of these are useful in building different chatbots and application. On the right side, we have the LLM layer. This is responsible for interfacing with the LLM provider. So be it Cohere, OpenAI, and sort. So it has understanding of the query. So it allows user to use abbreviation specific to logistic space. So it understands all that. It interprets the data. It can call the function that you have. And it also has guardrails in place so that the answer is in defined limits. It is not hallucinating. On the left-hand side, we have different functions that we need to process before making the query. So there are some data access functions, and there are visualization functions which are responsible for embedding the charts in the UI itself, and knowledge retrieval functions. And there are also pre-processing functions that translate abbreviation to a business object in the Oracle. So this whole solution is integrated. Yeah, so this whole solution is works with OTM, REST API. So if any data that is available in the API, this app will have access to it and will be able to answer the questions. So it had different, like I said, it has different components for understanding the specific business lingo. It identifies correct point in different number of steps so that it doesn't hallucinate and gets the right answer. It remembers the previous response and so on.
So what it has is it has both the context that you're asking previously. It also has the memory, whatever the previous conversation that you can go back and then start doing it. What we're also coming up is, it effectively you can build reports, you can build the intelligence what you need, you can ask series of questions and then move into the next one. Somebody is reminding us, so we'll just move fast. This is the first use case which we're doing it as part of this. This is the first use case that we've delivered as part of the project Insights, which is nothing but AI-driven reporting and intelligence. That's what I was talking about it. Any business object that you can query and ask questions, you can get the information and you can get the intelligence about the business object. I have a small demo which we probably. time. So basically what we're saying is you can get data, you can request data from any business object as long as the REST API supports it. Any operation that you want to do on a business object as long as the REST API supports it. And you have the ability to drill down, ask the follow-up questions, because the platform that we build in will understand the OTM REST API structures, the parent element, the child endpoints, and the relationship between them, and then it can give you the information that you require, right? And based on what information that you do in terms of actionable items, other things that we can build it based on the use cases, how we can do it. That's the first part of that journey that we have done. The second part is the OTM health check. That is what we're working on right now. The whole idea is using this platform. Now that platform is available, which understand this, can we convert it into a kind of ease the business from a business user point of view, as well as from a practitioner's point of view? Ask questions, get the information, do a health check, why my shipment is failed, what is the status of the order, how I can do certain things. And it can look at multiple elements since it understands the relationship. It can do that and then give you a remedial actions what you need to do. Remember, Sundar was talking about human intervention is always there. It's not that we want to do everything automate. That's the kind of a health check that we're working as a next step. What we suggest from an implementation approach, look at it from, we can work with the teams. That's basically what we've been doing it across. We need to look at from a feasibility. We need to look at from an actionability perspective and identify what are the use cases that can give you more business value, and put the use cases on priority and start implement them as a pilot, and then start expanding into the REST API, into the Agentic AI, and that's what we're doing it. So what we're bringing to the table is something that is working today, a platform which can understand and then do the stuff for you in terms of Agentic AI. And what we can build is an automation agents using the platform as we go on. That's from the team Palletbees. Any questions? So just to give you, this is not on the Oracle stack right now. This is used on the open source right now. The plan is to move into the Oracle stack probably in a month or two. Point number one. We use the LLM right now is the Cohere. When we started it, OpenAI was not part of that. ChatGPT was not part of it. But what we're doing for OpenAI with the Cohere, which we can do for any other LLM. Yeah, that's all we have.